So I came into work, I was looking through my schedule of patients, and I see I'm doing a pre-op exam for a colonoscopy routine screening. And I thought, I don't know that we need to do this. But I dig into the chart and I've got a letter from the gastroenterologist, and they say, hey, look, sorry to send over, this pre-op, but this patient is on extremely high amounts of insulin. They have bad type 2 diabetes, and we don't feel comfortable doing this procedure because they're going to be fasting, and we really need a comprehensive plan of what to do with this insulin. And I thought, well, I look into it. Patients on many hundreds of units of concentrated insulin. It's the most I've ever seen. And I thought, well, that does make sense. Let's look into this. And so, I started looking into the medical literature, of which there is not much for this. And I talk with colleagues and do a lot of thinking. And we have a standard protocol for handling insulin in these sort of situations. And I thought, you know what? Our standard process, as I see it, is probably not going to be aggressive enough. Typically, if someone's on insulin, we cut their long-acting insulin in half when they are fasting for a medical procedure. It's fairly routine. And we have people skip their short-acting doses during that interval also. But this person was on so much, and I thought, I think it's still going to be too much. So we went real aggressive. We cut down by over 4/5 on their insulin, and we sent them in for the procedure. And much to everyone's dismay, this person still developed hypoglycemia during the procedure. The insulin was still too high, even though we cut the most of it out. And this person ended up having to be briefly taken to the hospital, get IV dextrose infusion. And so they came back to see me in the clinic. And this is what I describe as kind of a serendipitous twist in the universe. The patient before I saw this person back was also 50 years old, was a very devout Hindu woman who practiced fasting. Every week she would fast for a whole day. And I've never met someone like this. I'm like, tell me about this. And she's like, oh, it's just what I do. I've been doing it every week since I was 12 years old. That was just what they did as part of their spiritual tradition. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound very nice to me. That was kind of my first thought. I wouldn't want to do that. And she's like, no, it's quite nice. She enjoys the day, and she doesn't find it difficult. And she's in pinnacle of health. And I thought, well, that's very interesting. And so I left that visit with her right over to the follow-up with this gentleman. And I said, sorry about the whole hospital thing and everything, but it's kind of interesting that you did this, little bit of fasting, and clearly you didn't need any of the insulin that you were using. And, I just met this woman who fasts every week and likes it and feels good. And, I have a thought, like, what if you just did what she did? Like, you could take a holiday from the insulin, gets huge amounts of insulin, and might you be interested in seeing if you could get by without it? And then bonus, you don't even have to get a colonoscopy, when you're done with it. And he's like, yeah, I think I'll try it. So we get the guy all set up with glucose monitoring plan. So keep a real close eye. We're going to keep in close touch. He's going to stay hydrated. And first day fasting, his blood sugar stays under 250 the whole day with no insulin. And he felt fine and then carried on. And so I hadn't been thinking that anything would happen other than take a break on the insulin for a day with all the shots. And what we quickly came to see over the coming days is that his blood sugar was better all the rest of the days of the week when he was eating. And we had to start dialing back the insulin. And long story short, over the course of 6 months, this person who was on the most insulin I've ever seen, got completely off of insulin. And as the insulin started coming significantly down and started losing weight, and I said, what is going on here? This is something quite interesting. And so that started a personal study for me, where I've tried to study as much as I can about fasting and physiology, and I've had a progressive practice of working with people on using this. And I feel like, in a way, we've really worked the problem kind of from the inside out. We started at the very most difficult place, someone with high doses of insulin and diabetes, and then worked backwards. What if someone has diabetes without requiring insulin, or what if someone just needs to lose weight? And we've kind of peeled back into a simpler place over time. If you found this interesting, if you'd like to hear more, give a like to the video and subscribe and follow along. I'd be very interested to hear thoughts from you all, and look forward to having some dialogue about this as we go along.